right, so land use planning and conservation. Don't start to shit, hang tight. Dan made me laugh the other day because he said, land use planning, probably not going to have a lot of people come to that breakout session. I said, no, you're wrong, it's exciting. As I was pulling up pictures, I was like, oh, it's not as exciting a picture as other people. Maybe you're right, we'll see. But so I'm here to talk about the role of land use planning in agricultural production and food systems in general. All right, great, thanks. So to begin, just a brief explanation of the historical roots of planning and actually public health, which over time evolved to the more traditional land use planning that we think of today, which does affect agricultural production, processing, and distribution. So historically, planners and public health officials addressed sanitation and health issues that were affected and occurred from the built form, and traditional zoning was developed to separate those land uses in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Over time, community health, which once was the primary purpose for planning and zoning, became an afterthought in our design of the built environment. So combined with other factors, this type of zoning and land use development separated land uses led to a change in the landscape throughout much of the United States, also known as a sprawl quite often. So as modern zoning practices assign land uses according to their function, this created a greater reliance on automobiles and that sort of transportation. So on the left, on the left you'll see a more traditional type village, which was developed long before the one on the right, St. Johnsbury and Manchester. Thanks for going back. So other results of this type of land use development would be the loss of ag lands to the highest and best use. Land values directly impact the viability of Vermont farms. High land values can make farming economically challenging, sometimes impossible. Today, about 21% of the state's land is in ag use, even though only about 15% of that is composed of the primary ag soils, or soils that are best suited for that type. So also a result of land development trends, or what's been linked to those sort of land development trends, are the current state of health in the U.S., and just pretty much, in a nutshell, linked to the lack of healthy eating and active living opportunities. Of note, despite our reputation as one of the healthiest states in the nation, over half of Vermonters are above healthy weight and are at risk of chronic diseases. At the same time, over 13% of Vermonters were food insecure between 2007 and 2009. So two sides to the same coin can also be linked to food access. So these are some of the results. What are some of the solutions? So there's opportunities as planners, other folks in government, public health officials, educators begin to look outside their traditional silos to think, what are the effects of developing land in a sprawling environment such as that? There's no magic bullet, but planning and really thinking long-term about what the role of land use is and how we are developing our land is one example of a solution. Another solution would be the idea of healthy community design, which in this context means planning and building our communities so that it's easier for people to make healthier choices. So planners, public health officials in Vermont and across the nation are really beginning to look at the traditional concepts of planning. So those land use, transportation, community activities that have been separated for so long, and really trying to look at them through a health lens. So how do we increase physical activity, at the same time public safety, accessibility to healthy foods, the opportunity to increase the production of healthy foods. Another solution, at least in the world of planning, would be agricultural resource protection. So there are many ways that you can look at this, but establishing resource protection districts via zoning, establishing or updating subdivision bylaws to be more inclusive of clustering type developments to leave agricultural lands open. At the same time, making sure you're zoning for diversified farming, not just what we think of as traditional larger farming. Promoting programs such as current use, education around conservation easements, and encouraging the purchasing of local foods. And finally, it's a lot of information, I feel like oftentimes at this level, right? And the question is, and what we hope to get some answers from you all tonight, and to be able to discuss what you can do, not only as an individual, but within your towns, because it really is, you know, as a regional planner, we really respond to what you at the town level say, and we report to the state, and that's how change happens. So appreciate you coming out and listening a little bit about land use planning.